Hello and welcome to this video. I'm currently walking to the site that featured in my first and third and several other mudlarking videos. I haven't been able to film there for well over a year now because of flood mitigation engineering works happening there. But the first stage of that is finished with, and a friend of mine posted photos on Facebook of a nice stoneware bottle that her son found there last week. So the way that was blocked and guarded is apparently now open again. I think that creature crossing the canal is a juvenile otter, a very rare sighting at this time of day. I know that they are in the area, but I've only ever seen their tracks before. That's really made my day. So, before anyone comments, I certainly would not usually give away the exact location of such a sighting. There are a few people out there with bad motives. I think I'm safe in this case though. Otters have a range of about 40 miles, and it's incredibly unlikely, trending towards zero chance, that including footage of an otter sighting here today will result in otter sightings hereabouts in a month or more when I finally release this video. The river is a little higher than usual. It's rained every day for the last 2 weeks, and there will be more rain sometime in the next hour or two. Doesn't especially look like it at the moment, but I trust what my nose is telling me. I looked up at the grand house on that hillside in my first video. One day I think I might try and track down the rubbish pit that's likely nearby. There's a chance that some bottles might be there, and some of them might have been drunk from by Branwell Bronte, brother of much more famous sisters during the time that he lodged there. There has recently been a small team of volunteers making a weekend of clearing all the plastic and rubbish from this section of the riverside, and the roadside, and the river itself. Heroes. I kinda hope that I can join in with such efforts when it's safer to be in close company with people again. It is very nice to be walking along, filming the riverbank without feeling that slight discomfort that comes with knowing that the camera is catching sight of unsightly plastics intruding upon nature. A single piece isn't too bad, that high water brought in possibly overnight, and it's manageable for me who isn't actually on an exclusively litter-picking sort of a mission. I think that because there's water in this little gully creating sort of an island, that'll mean that the little beach will be underwater, the little beach being a bit of a riffle in the middle of the river on the corner. It's sometimes dry, and it catches some of what gets washed down this river. I haven't had much luck finding interesting things there myself, but Amanda Bell took Docking Bay 51 there, and between them they found quite a bit. Today the river looks like it's probably covering it, but it might still be possible to have a wade there, if the crossing to it isn't too deep. River being a bit high might also mean that the access route to the main beach, down a usually dry portion of a weir, is underwater too. No matter, we'll still get there. Oh, not going for a wade here. The wade to the riffle looks to be about waist deep with a strong current today. Oh well. I hope that this means that when the little beach re-emerges, it is replenished with lots of interesting little relics for people to find. This is part of a flood management project tree planting, and this end of the field is going to be given over to becoming a wetland habitat. The path I used to take is this way, but it kind of looks a bit dubious as to whether it's still all there. Got my boots on though, and I'm game to try. The path is disappearing. I certainly think that the official plan must be to not have a path coming through here anymore. I wonder if the Environment Agency put in a new path closer to that hedge. I'll find out before our return visit. If not, there's still the canal bank. That garden wall is new, at least the height of it is new, and I think it's largely a thick concrete barrier faced with stone. This bit here looks very different. There used to be a split in the path about here, one of them going up to the bridge and the other down to under the bridge. There isn't much down left, so a substantial chunk of hillside has been removed, and access is really only by the way I've come, or wading across the river, or sneaking around the back of one of the business premises, which does sometimes have a gate blocking that. Used to be a low wall topped with a dense hedge along here. This is much more of a path than there used to be. I used to have to sidle along, fighting the hedge, which kept trying to push me off the wall into the river. This beach, the finest spot for nicely worn river glass on the upper parts of this river. Nicely worn pottery shards too. This one might make a good pendant. This one too. That's a nail. If it was copper, I'd take it. Steel, no. Well, let's go and see what else there might be, trying hard not to be too distressed by the Japanese knotweed that's now proliferating here. Some form of early plastic, I think. Not Bakelite. That's brittle enough to have cracked with the tumbling treatment this has had. Actually, it might instead be a variety of vulcanized rubber. Has a similar feel. A little bit of brass. I usually used to find a few bits of copper and brass here, but the shape of the beach is very different now. I don't know if it will catch and sort things in the same ways and in the same places. This spot used to be where the nicely worn river glass wound up. Nice uranium glass piece. Many more bricks than there used to be. Not surprising with all the engineering work replacing old walls. The spot where the pieces of clay pipe wash up is now about 2 metres down the beach from where it used to be. Wonder if that will be consistent with where the other materials end up. I think I'm here today for anything. Projects and purpose can fall by the wayside for a bit. I'm just going to enjoy taking whatever I like in the moment. I like this. I'll take it. This bit of a flower pattern on the top, maybe the white rose of Yorkshire, probably the handle off a food dish lid. Willow pattern, nicely worn glass. There's always a bit of milk glass, and a nice shard of willow pattern. This is a path now, but it used to be the place I found ancient whittle-tang antler knife handles that had washed up. Wonder if there'll ever be more of those. Clay pipe. Not a smoking pipe, but clay and pipe. Something electrical, probably. Fiberglass. Ha, didn't recognise it. Toilet seat. Brass. The edging of a compact or a small coin purse. Always worth looking near where you find something for more of that something if you like it, and I do like brass. Ah, some more brass, some form of gasket ring. Not particularly interesting, so something for the melt pile. Interesting to me, seeing inside a cut of a former beach mound. Was less sticking out than I'd suppose, given the density of things sitting on the surface. But I guess maybe many mudlarkers thin out the surface layers between floods depositing new things. I do hate how many of those plastic barriers end up into rivers. Not much I can do about them on my own, but at least they hold together well and stand a good chance of being removed before they break down significantly. Bit of a ginger beer? No, not with pitting like that. Maybe a wet cell battery casing. I can't take the huge plastic, but I can take the small pieces. Bit of wire. Yay, quite broken, but the first class bottle stopper I've found in what feels like ages. I love the way light dances round inside of them. These and beads and marbles and coins and clay pipes are the small things that I just find joyful to find. Don't want it. Don't really want that either, but I'll take it. It already looks like some of the plastic has broken off it, and it probably sprayed something like glyphosate, an insecticide or weed killer. Glad to say that our local council has stopped using such chemical sprays, and the wildflowers and pollinators are doing very well this year as a result. Stainless steel, I'd guess. Certainly the right shape for a stainless steel mixing bowl. similar food thing. Over here I did spot part of a nice stoneware ginger beer. H. Baldwin Walston. I like it, and broken though it is, I can perhaps level the edges and Kilsuki the crack. Bit of pipe stem. Bottom of a salad cream bottle, or similar. Oh, this thing. I tried to dig this thing out last time I was here. The river has done the work for me, at least for half of it. I think, and I freely admit that I could well be wrong, but it might have been a suspension thing for an old horse-drawn carriage. Do offer up other suggestions if you have any. I can't hope to answer them all, but I do read all the comments. There's some of the rest of it, along with some orange nylon plastic webbing, which I'll struggle to extract all of, and I didn't bring a knife, so I won't have much success. But what I will have is a marble. Cod marble. And this is about 2 meters again. Not exactly down the beach, but still 2 meters from where the river used to drop marbles. I'd almost forgotten how much fun this tiny little beach could be. I wonder how long some of the water swirls around this pool before it escapes the loop. It is the swirl that makes this such a good spot for finding things. Do shout out if you see anything interesting. A stopper, probably from a pickle jar. It's a bit beat up, broken, and I don't think I'll take this one. This other one though, plain and a little worn, probably from a humble sauce bottle, but intact and I love finding them. Is that a little game piece hiding down there? I think it might be. Quite an unusual one. They usually have ribs on the corner rather than flat facets, but I'd guess it's still a 5 stones piece. Otherwise known as Knucklebones Alicorp's Jacks, one of the very old games of the world, supposedly dating just a little further back than the Trojan War, the stories of which contain the first known mention of the game. Bit of plastic, the handle off a bucket. That rain cloud is pushing a lot of ozone before it. It's quite beautiful, both the dark cloud and the light from the sunny portion of the sky, which doesn't look, from looking at it, like it should be as warm and golden as it is on the ground. It almost feels like summer evening light, but it's mid-afternoon on a spring day. The times, they are a-changing. I recognise this as a sort of wrench. Not a monkey wrench, don't know if I know the name of it, but my dad has one. Brass wrapped around an iron rod. I do find this quite often, and the weight is almost all iron, but I'll still take it. The brass is easy to separate. Another bluebell growing happily in completely different substrate than I'd expect. Full of surprises, this beach. Once found a tomato plant growing here. The tomatoes from it tasted awful though. Shame about the break, that would have been a nice find. I see some glass rod, cobalt blue, and with a little water from the river via my fingers, and a little light from the sun, it's beautiful. Just checking. Half an hour, I reckon. Certainly not where I'm used to finding such things, but nice to find nonetheless. A piece of a bone knife handle. Could be anything between 50 and 300 years old, with a wide margin of error in that assessment. Knife styles didn't change much for a very long time. And another bottle stopper. Garton's. Probably a HP source, although it doesn't say so. Mostly nicely worn piece of aqua glass. No use for it, but I like it. I'll take it. thought that was another bottle stopper for a moment. We'll take this, a rusted up tape measure, take it home and put it in the bin. No idea what this is. Something related to the engineering works, perhaps? Brass. A finial off, maybe a bedstead. Oh, so close to being intact. It would be rare indeed to find an intact vintage bottle here, and though I can find unlimited numbers of intact ones just like this one elsewhere, the context of it being here, where almost exclusively broken things wash up, would make it a bit special. "15 minutes or less till the rain comes. Still blue sky over that way. Ooh, only the second one of these I found. It's a ceramic cover for where two wires are twisted together, an insulator of sorts from the very early days of house wiring. And I see it, do you? Another bottle stopper. It's another Garton's, and this time it says HP Source 2. Is that broccoli? And some more. Cooked, and somehow on this beach. I'm guessing that the person who lives in the house on the other side of this wall doesn't like broccoli in their Chinese takeaway. Another bottle stopper. Vulcanite, quite a simple one, but clean, and I'm happy with it. Nice colour, but no. A circuit breaker, which according to some scrapping videos might have silver contacts inside. I'm not going to bother trying to open it up though, not worth the effort fighting against river-rusted screws. Acorn cup. I do think that, aside from the access issue, this could be an interesting place to magnet fish. Lots of old iron in the water, some of it possibly ancient. Little swirling, dancing whirlpools. Wonder what wonders are being carried along, skipping down the riverbed. As well as magnet fishing, I think I'd quite like to scuba dive here and see what can be found. I do have my PADI certification, but I'd need a refresher course, and of course, all the very expensive gear. I only really have a wetsuit. Maybe a full mask snorkel would be a possibility instead of scuba tanks. Not on a day like today though, those currents are strong. And roundup time. That was the second outing of that day, and not the last. You'll have to see the previous and next videos to see what I found in those places. The first outing was a bit slow and I didn't find much. This outing I think I was more energetic and having more fun. And the third outing I was tired before I began, but I found some pretty good things. I really don't know where I mustered the energy from, and I don't think I'll film 3 episodes in a day anytime soon. So for finds, I think I'm at least temporarily a bit spoiled for appreciating river glass after the amount of nicely worn pieces of sea glass I found at Tynemouth. Video from that is a long way out. The stack currently stands at 15 videos filmed. That one is number 11. However, I do very much appreciate the pottery pieces I found on that little beach. They're nicely worn, and a few pieces are perfectly shaped to be made into jewellery. Pendants, most likely. I'm not sure if I'll ever get around to that. It's not a high priority project for me, but I could maybe give these away to somebody who would use them. This little section is where the fun was for me. 5 glass bottle stoppers, a vulcanite one, a cod bottle marble, and a piece of cobalt blue glass rod. I honestly don't fully understand why finding such simple and quite common things can be joyous, but it is, and I hope it stays that way for a long time. Somewhere along the way I unfortunately managed to misplace the clay gaming piece that I found. That's a shame, but these things happen, and maybe someone else will find it and have a little happy moment because of it. Plus, I found another one in the third outing of the day. Always good to find something that I rarely find, and these tiny insulators are small and easy to miss. About 100 years old, give or take a decade. I would like to find more really, really old things too, but eyes-only mudlarking isn't a good method for that hereabouts. I'd have to scuba dive and or metal detect fields to stand a better chance. The iron thing does have considerable beauty in how it's been worn, but I would also like to know what it was. If you know, or if you have an inkling, then please do comment. Why I took it, I'm not quite sure, but I'm increasingly interested in blacksmithery and might conceivably one day have an iron working forge, as well as a small smelting one. The smelting one is probably where all this copper and brass is headed, but the bits that are worth saving for their beauty or historical interest are few and far between. That's the finds, and now the thanks. First, a big welcome if you're a new subscriber, and thank you if you've been a subscriber for a while and haven't yet found reason to unsubscribe. A big thank you to everyone who's liked, disliked, commented on and shared my videos. Another big thank you to the kind people who've donated monetary gifts through Ko-fi. Few people are in a position to do that. So thank you if you've even thought of it, but can't afford it. From my Amazon wish lists, Lucy Commons, I hope I pronounced that right, kindly bought this Neil Gaiman book, and it's remiss of me that I haven't read it already, seeing as I've read most of his books, and this is reputedly one of his best, and I really enjoyed the TV miniseries of this 24 years ago. Thanks so much, Lucy. I'm going to enjoy this. And A.D. Smith went above and beyond in buying not just this belt file sander, which was on my wish list and is going to be a great help in one of my first planned videos, and hopefully many more after, but also a pack of 50 replacement belts for it, which wasn't on my wish list, but would certainly have been something I'd have had to buy, as the tool only comes with 2. Thank you so much, AD, this is very kind of you, and it's going to make a big difference. I do hope that you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, then any way you choose to show appreciation is very much appreciated. The options are likes, comments, shares, donations through Ko-fi, or purchases from either of the 2 available Amazon wish lists, one of which is tools and materials for planned videos, and the other is books and things that I like, but only occasionally feel like I can afford to buy. I hope you're looking after yourselves and loved ones as best you can. Thank you all very much for watching, and for now, goodbye.